Dzień dobry, Kuba Dobroszek, miesięcznik My Company Polska. Jesteśmy w naszym wyjazdowym studio, tym razem we Wrocławiu. Okazja bardzo ciekawa, bo mam przed sobą bardzo interesujący raport poświęcony tutejszemu lokalnemu ekosystemowi startupowemu. Jeszcze go nie czytałem w całości, ale zapowiada się bardzo interesująco. A z nami jest autor tego raportu, dr Yash Chawla. Hello, nice to see you again.
Hey, nice to see you again.
When you last visited our studio, you greeted our viewers with very strong, very good Polish dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
Have you learned any new Polish words since last time?
Nauczycie się polskiego na 3 godziny na dni.
Okay.
Tak.
Okay, so recently we talked about writing about new technologies, and today we'll discuss the report you prepared. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
How it feels to see your name and your photo nearly on the first page?
It was really something. When I saw the report for the first time printed, it was an emotional moment because at universities, when we do anything, like we write research or we are doing anything, we always get to put our name on it.
Yeah.
But whenever I did any kind of consulting and I did like reports or I did something, I never got to put my name on it. So this is like the first report outside the university that I got to put my name on it. So this was like a very emotional thing, and we really worked a lot for this. If you will see the amount of details that are there, the basic data in this report, it would be useful for anybody, as I was mentioning in the speech, that it is more of a resource rather than just a report.
Yeah.
So
okay, so we'll discuss about it, but
yes.
First I would like to ask you something else, because I saw on social media that that you and the startup Wrocław team recently visited India.
Yes.
And I have a question: what can Polish innovators could learn from Indian innovators?
I was actually a bit surprised when I started interacting with Polish innovators, because there is a lot of similarity between the Indian innovators and Polish innovators in terms of the dedication and the passion that they have towards their ideas, towards the things that they are developing. I would say that both the Indian side and the Polish side have something to learn from each other. So I will maybe say the Indian side can be a bit more, say, punctual. I'm still getting to terms about it. From the Polish side, there is like this fine balance between this, having a work-life balance and then having an ambition and like putting in the effort to fulfill it.
Okay.
So I feel sometimes the environment kind of makes us lazy. Whereas in India, the competition is so tough that if you get lazy, you're lost. So you have no time to get lazy. So I think that is something that is good, but not always.
Okay.
So something both ecosystems can learn from each other. Yeah.
Okay. So now let's focus on Polish innovators and Polish startuppers. Please tell us about the report we mentioned at the beginning, but I don't know if report is a good word, because you mentioned on the stage that this is not just a report.
This is not just a report. And the reason for it not being just a report is, I think the startup Wrocław team kind of brought in the ecosystem perspective, that what is required from the ecosystem, and there are different stakeholders in the ecosystem. And me coming from academia, from my perspective, I always want something that is an impact. As we were discussing in the last time, we also thought that this impact, any activity that we do, if we are printing 500 copies of a report, we are having an environmental impact. So this report should mean something to people who carry it. If I would just create a report, and if we will just put a bunch of numbers, people will learn that numbers, and then that is just another book that can be thrown away. But if we create it as a resource, where you know that, oh, if I want to talk to that investor, I can have the contact from this. Or if I want this, I can have this. So this is like one place thing that you can have. So that was a perspective that when we were trying to create the report, we thought of it as a report plus resource, so that it is more useful for the whole community. And there was another thing, because I was the one who was writing all of the analysis by myself, and the Startup Wrocław team was collecting interviews and other things, which are like messages and so on. So if I would just put my perspective in the analysis, then it would put a bias.
Okay.
So what I tried to do in the report, I tried to show what the numbers are. And a bit of what I think in very, very short. But then the report kind of gives the platform for anybody reading the report to make their own interpretations.
Okay.
To see the data and then make their own conclusions based on their own expertise, their own knowledge, their own skills. So that is how a report can be useful for way more people rather than just some people agreeing with one person.
Yeah. So the report contains a wealth of information about local ecosystem.
Yes.
How would you describe this local ecosystem in, I don't know, a few sentences?
So I would say that the ecosystem is in its infant phase. So we did, as we were discussing, we have now 5 unicorns that have come out of the region, but still we are very good at doing fresh things, but we are not very good at doing advanced things. So if you look at the Western ecosystems, they are really good at doing these multi-billion-dollar startups, but we are not yet there. We have only 5. So the ecosystem is very promising because we have a lot of the main component of a startup ecosystem is talent. So we do have a lot of talent. We have another very important aspect of an ecosystem is that we have people with technology. We have people with technological mindset, innovative mindset. So they are able to develop those technology. What we need to bring in is the more business perspective of technology. So we are able to develop technology, but now we will need to be able to sell it better. We are doing it, but we need to do it better. So if we sum it up in a few lines, I think all stakeholders need to come in and maybe sell the tech more. And of course, we are very good at developing talent and tech, so we should continue doing that.
So Polish founders are very good in technology and improve startups, but they aren't good in selling these ideas.
Yes.
Yeah?
The business of tech is not as good.
Okay.
And this is what they say. So I am just narrating the words which they said in the survey. That we are not, or this is one of the question was, which is the most difficult role to fill as a startup, to hire somebody on a role, which is the most difficult role to fill in Lower Silesia.
Okay.
And it was somebody who is very good at sales and marketing. So a person who's good at sales and marketing is something that startups don't easily find.
Yeah.
So this kind of narrates the whole story of what we were talking about.
Okay, so what recommendations did you include in the report?
So there is a set of recommendations that were as an outcome from the interview that I did with Dr. Michael Schäfer, who is the president of the president of the board of European Innovation Council. So he has recommended that the investors should come together and create a syndicate so that small funds can come together to make a bigger fund so that they can do bigger funding rounds rather than just smaller funding rounds. That is one thing. The other thing that was from that interview that came out was that we need to bring in our technology and we need to protect the intellectual property rights. So we need to create copyrights, we need to create patents, we need to create technology transfer. So then we will be able to access more European funds because our region is not very strong right now in utilizing the European Innovation Council funds, for instance. So this is something that came out of that interview. From the analysis of the data, each of the stakeholders have recommendation in the report. I can just highlight one or two because I would, of course, invite people to read it. One of the things that the university should do is to create a valorization roundtable. It is to bring in all of the different kinds of universities. So say I come from Wrocław University of Science and Technology. I am from the social science management background. We have technology. So we do have this interdisciplinary connect within the university. But if we also bring in the economic university, environmental university, if you bring in other universities, and then we do a valorization roundtable, then it brings in more perspective. Okay. And this is actually happening on at the end of October. There is an art tech science conference, which is being organized by 7 or 8 universities in Wrocław. So this is already like in action. And in April, again, I will be organizing a conference which is about human tech society. So that will also be an action in that direction. And the second very, very important thing that is required is for the corporations and the investors to build better relations with all startups and also the universities. Because what this will do is it will enable a smoother flow of information, knowledge between these stakeholders. And corporations have a very, very important role to play in terms of giving access to market, allowing startups to or partner with them mentor them to be able to validate their products. So the corporations also have a very important role to play. So we can talk about it all day because there are a lot of things that are there inside the report.
So finally, to sum up, what would you like people to remember from this report?
I would like people to treat this report as a starting point, not as a conclusion. This is the first ever report. Hopefully there will be more reports that will come out. But use the data from the report to your understanding and then bring that understanding to the ecosystem. All of us need to come and contribute to the ecosystem, and that is how the ecosystem will grow and give us back. We have seen this in mature ecosystem that corporations or graduates, alumni from universities, they come back and they connect with their alma mater, they connect with their region again, and they help it grow. So we need to all come together and grow. And this is hopefully a starting point for all of the stakeholders to look at and then say, okay, this is where I can come in, and this is the benefit I can get from the ecosystem, and this is the benefit I can give to the ecosystem.
Okay. So thank you for this meeting. I say some words for our Polish viewers.
Please.
Ja jeszcze, tak jak powiedziałem, nie czytałem tego raportu, natomiast zapowiada się bardzo ciekawie. Zapewne będzie omówienie na naszych łamach, także serdecznie zapraszamy. Thank you very much and I hope to see you again.
Thank you. It was lovely to chat with you again.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.